Alright, good day, my dear third year students. So today we're going to have an example of unstructured data. We will going to use SAMP as our DBMS and then using MySQL as the language. Okay, so to those who don't have the assignment yet, last Monday you have to submit it before the week end. Okay, so let's get started. But before that, we have to review first what is a structured data. Here in your module, it says a fixed field within a record. Okay, so now we're going to actually create some database for you to understand what is a structured data. Okay, so if you have already some to your laptop, that would be a good start. First of all, you have to click the start of Apache and MySQL. Make it sure that the two Apache and MySQL are running. Okay. Now, next is go to your favorite browser. Mine is Chrome. Or you can just click the admin for the MySQL admin so that it will go to the local host. Okay, then let's wait for it to load. If you have lots of databases inside your DBMS, you will experience a little bit loading. Take time. Okay, right. So here we have three databases because is in. Okay, now we're going to create new database for this topic. To create one, click the new and then click the new again. Okay, now for the database name, the naming convention for this is DB, that means database. DB underscore and the name that you would like to have. Say for example, our topic for today is structured data, so we will name this as DB structured, or we can actually create some real life databases. Okay, some databases that we use in the industry. So for example, you are going to create a login page, and of course you need to have a database for it. So for example, you want to create a system, of course there's a login for the accounts. Okay, so we will name this as your, let's say for example you have your POS system for your business. So this is DBPOS. Okay, after creating database, once it's successfully created, there will be a pop-ups of creating some tables. Now for the table, the naming convention of it is TB. Okay, for the table. So in our database, we need to have table. So it would look like this. Okay, I'm gonna use the paint for you to have an overview of our database. For example, this is your database, which is DBPOS, right? Inside your database, we need to have a table. Okay. A table for our accounts. So DB accounts. This will be your schema. Okay. This will be your structure, and then if you're planning to have another tables, multiple tables, say for example, since it's a POS, point of sale, this means you have a business object, stores, and so on. Okay, so for example, you have another table for your products. Okay, so the figure should look like this. TB products. Okay, so for now we are going to focus on the accounts, and then inside our accounts we have fields like ID, account username, account password, and then your full name. Okay, so inside our TV accounts table we need to have a field or columns. This will be your column. Okay, so if your table will be TV accounts, the naming convention for that is you have to take the first three letters of your table from the underscore. Starting from the underscore, you have to take three letters, and then that would be your prefix of your columns. For example, act, ID, this, and then we also have act username, oops, and then act password, and then act full name. Alright, so maybe I don't need this box right here, because this box represents my table. Since this is not a table, this is a column, so I would just leave it like that. Okay, let's try to arrange this one. Oops. Oh, what are you doing? Oh no, I can't arrange because I'm here at 8. So maybe I just have to draw lines like this. So like that. These are the columns of my table accounts. And we will just focus here on our accounts first. Okay, so this will be your overview for your database. Okay, so here in my database I have two tables, the products and then accounts, and then inside my accounts I have fields like ID, username, password, and then phone. So let's create this one inside our sum. So here in our table we have to create also the accounts. And then by default you will have 4 fields or columns. Since in our case we have 4 columns also, so we have to click go. Alright, so this one right here. So before you proceed to your columns, you need to check the AI right here. This means auto increment. Okay, for the very first time you have to check this one before doing anything else. Alright, so check that one, and then there will be a pop-up saying this will be your primary. Okay, and then click go, then there you have it. Then we will fill this up with our desired columns. First the ID, next will be the username, password, full name, username, password, and then full name. Okay, now here in our data type, since this username, password, and full name contains character, we need to change the data type into varchar, or a variable characters, right? So we need to change that one into varchar. Now since our account ID is a number, an integer, we will just leave it like that. Okay, now if you're done, so by default we will use 30, because usernames, some of our usernames all only contains 3 to 4 characters, but for safety we need to use a 30. Okay, now click save. Alright, So after this one, you have successfully created your table. Now to show the overview like this in our in our sum, click the more and then click the design. Alright, so this one you will see you have TB accounts inside the database POS. Okay, so if you want to create another table just like our here in our page, it will show another table like this this side, but for now we will focus on the table accounts. Alright, so let's get back. If you want to go back to your accounts, just click the table accounts, and then you have, as you can see, there is nothing yet, nothing data. There's no data yet. Okay, so to insert this one manually, if you are a database manager, you can just insert something like that. You can just use the user interface for the sum and then input some data. But in our case, we are the programmers. We need to know how. We need to know the syntax on how to insert data in our database, right? So here, let me show you some example for database manager point of view. Let's say, for example, I want to add admin, and then my password be admin. Then my full name is I'm the boss. Hit go, and then you will have it here. So you will see this is the syntax in order to insert some data on your database. Okay, so click browse, then you will see